Here's a heart-jolting statistic. More than 400,000 women die each year from heart disease, making it the #1 killer of women from all ethnic backgrounds. Cardiologist Dr. Grace Kater is here to have a heart-to-heart with us on how we can avoid heart disease. Dr. Kater is with the Metro Health's Heart and Vascular Center, and she sees patients both at the Metro Health Center in Strongsville as well as the Metro's main campus. So, Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, now what makes heart disease so deadly for women?
Well, there are many issues that impact the risk of heart disease in women more than men. For example, when it comes to smoking, which we all know is a major risk factor for heart disease, it creates more of a risk for women than for men. Also, now with the increase in the number of women with obesity and most people with obesity, that is a major risk factor for heart disease. And again, obesity in by itself can cause or contribute to the development of diabetes or high blood sugar. And we do know that diabetics have more than twofold increase in the risk of both heart disease and stroke compared to non-diabetics. Also, with the women after menopause, the risk of heart disease increases, and now that's where the baby boomer generation is at this point. And of course, we cannot forget the family history of risk heart disease. That's very important too.
So, Doctor, where do we start? And are we too old to do anything about it at this point anyway?
Well, really, lifestyle changes have a dramatic impact on preventing heart disease and decreasing those risks. And it's really never too old, and it's never too late to start.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And I'm sure diet and exercise are a main part of all of this.
Yes, they are. I mean, diet is really very important. It's important to look at the total calories that people are eating, and also to minimize or decrease the amount of animal fats such as processed meats, processed foods, trans fat, eat more vegetables and whole grains. As far as exercise, that's really very important. It's important to exercise at least for 30 to 45 minutes per day.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, actually, when you look about it, it's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it has to be at least 5 days a week. It has to be what we call moderate aerobic activity to get your heart rate moving so you can burn calories and condition your heart.
Are there other health issues that can raise your risk of heart disease?
Yeah, there are. For example, as I said, besides the ones that we talked about, there's a syndrome called the metabolic syndrome, and we're recognizing it more and more now as a major in by itself a risk factor for heart disease. And what the metabolic syndrome is actually a condition that is composed of certain risk factors, and they include obesity or fat around the abdomen, high blood pressure, high sugar, and also high triglycerides, which is another fat in the body. And we do know that the metabolic syndrome has more of an impact on women's risk for heart disease than men. So it's really important, again, to look at all these conditions and work at them.
I hear stress is bad for the heart. Does that mean you're kind of telling us we should go to a spa for a day and relax?
Well, that'd be nice. Yeah. Actually, no, we do know that mental stress and depression has a big impact on heart disease, and more so on women than in men. And, you know, people need to find ways to decrease their stress, and if it means going to the spa, you know, then be it.
What else can we do to be, or women do to be proactive to watch out for this?
Yeah. First, they have to look at the risk factors. Number two is they have to be aware of any symptoms that are unusual that they may have, and they need to follow up with their primary care doctor on a regular basis and be proactive.
Do you recommend that they see a cardiologist?
First, you know, it's important to see their primary care physician, who, again, would, depending on the risk factors and the symptoms, would recommend a cardiologist if need be.
Okay, thank you. So now you know that heart disease is the #1 killer of women, but you also know that you can change that statistic if you take Dr. Kater's advice to heart. To learn more and receive free information package, call the number that's coming up next.
For a free information packet on heart disease risks, call Metro Health at 216-778-4131 and learn more by visiting www.metrohealth.org. Next, is your ex-spouse worth more dead than alive?